everyone. In this video, we are gonna build a basic Todo List app using React. Now, you might be wondering, why build a Todo List app? Well, it's one of the most essential projects for anyone learning React. Seriously, almost every React developer starts with this because it covers so many core concepts. We'll learn how to manage state, handle user input, render lists dynamically, and even add some cool animations with framer motion. Plus, we'll throw in a dark mode toggle to make it look modern and stylish. Alright, let's get started and build our Todo List app. Create a new folder and drag that into your versus code. Alright, let's use white, which is faster and more modern than Create React app. First, open your terminal and type npm create white at latest. It'll ask you to name your project. Type a name like Todo List App. Then, select React and JavaScript with arrow marks. Now, navigate into your project folder. Install all the dependencies by typing npm install. Wait for some time. We are gonna use Bootstrap for styling and framer motion for animations. So, let's install them by typing npm install bootstrap framer motion. We'll cover state management, adding and deleting tasks, animations, and dark mode toggling. Alright, with everything installed, let's dive into the coding part. Go to your src folder and open app.jsx. Delete everything in there. Yup, just wipe it clean so we can start fresh. Now, we are gonna import all the necessary libraries. So, type this. Alright, here we are importing React because, well, we are building a React app. We are also grabbing useState from React. Why? Because we need to manage our data, like the list of tasks and whether dark mode is on or off. Here, we are bringing in motion and animate presence from framer motion. Think of this like the magic sauce for animations. Motion is what makes things move, and animate presence helps us animate items when they are added or removed, like our tasks. We are pulling in our custom CSS file to style our app. Basically, this is where we'll make our app look nice with colors, fonts, and everything. And here, we are importing Bootstrap's CSS file. Bootstrap is a popular styling framework, and we are using it to quickly style buttons, inputs, and other stuff without writing all the CSS ourselves. In Google, type this. And copy that line, and paste it here. We are starting by creating a React component called Todo App. It's basically a function that returns our app's design and functionality. Here, we are making a state variable called to-dos. To-dos will hold all our tasks as an array. We start with an empty array because we have no tasks initially. SetToDos is a function we'll use to update the list of tasks whenever we add or delete something. Another state variable, input, to handle the text we type in the input box. It starts as an empty string because we haven't typed anything yet. SetInput will update the text as we type. Here's where we manage dark mode. Dark mode is a boolean, true or false. It starts as false because, by default, our app will be in light mode. SetDark mode is the function we use to switch between dark and light modes. This return part starts the JSX return block, where we define what the app looks like on the screen. This is the main outer container of our app. We are using a fancy trick called template literal with backticks to add classes dynamically. If dark mode is true, it applies the class, dark mode. If not, it applies nothing extra. A simple div to wrap all the app content. We are giving it a class name of Todo App to style it separately if we want. we are making a header section for the title and the dark mode toggle button. Open tag, H1, Todo List close tag, H1. Just a heading to display the title of our app. Here's the button that lets us switch between dark and light modes. The class name toggleBTN is used for styling. The onClick event triggers the setDarkMode function. We pass dark mode, which just means the opposite of whatever the current value is. If it's true, it becomes false and vice versa. The text on the button changes depending on the mode. If dark mode is true, it shows light mode. If dark mode is false, it shows dark mode. Finally, we export our Todo app component so we can use it in other files. Now, let's create a styles.css file inside the src folder. Just open your src folder, right-click, and create a new file named styles.css. This file will contain all our styling for the Todo app. Now, let's get into our main.jsx file. Delete everything inside it and start fresh by typing this code. So, what are we doing here? First, we are importing React and React DOM to work with React components and render them on the screen. Then, we are importing our app component from the app.jsx file and the styles.css file to apply all our styles. Finally, we are using React DOM.createRoot to select the root element from our HTML file and render our app component inside it, wrapped in React.strict mode to catch potential issues. Basically, this code is like the starting point that displays everything we build in our app component. Now, open your terminal and type npm run dev. This command is going to start your development server. Basically, it makes your app run locally on your browser, so you can see all the changes you make in real time. Once you hit enter, it'll give you a URL. Just click on that, and boom! Your app is live and ready to be built. Now, let's add the feature to actually add tasks to our list. So, what's happening here? We are creating a function called addToro. First, it checks if the input isn't just empty spaces using input.trim is equal to. If there's actually some text, it adds a new task to our to-do state by creating a new array with the existing tasks and the new one we are adding. The ID, date.now, part gives each task a unique ID based on the current time. And finally, we clear out the input box by setting setInput. Basically, this function is making sure we can add new tasks to our Todo list whenever we type something and hit the button. Simple and clean. Alright, now let's add the feature to delete tasks from our list. So, what's happening here? We've got a function called deleteToro. It takes an ID as a parameter, which is the unique ID of the task we want to delete. Now, we are using the filter function to create a new array that only keeps tasks where the ID doesn't match the one we want to delete. Basically, it's saying, hey, keep everything except the task with this particular ID. And then, setToDos updates our state with the new list. It's a super simple and efficient way to delete tasks from our Todo list. Easy, right? Alright, now let's start styling our Todo app to make it look clean and modern. Here, we are setting some global styles for our whole app. We are removing all the default margin and padding with margin 0 and padding 0 and using box sizing, border box, so padding and borders are included in the element's width and height. Then, we are setting a simple, clean font, giving the background a light gray color, and adding a smooth transition effect when the background color changes. Alright, now we are adding this .app container class from our JSX file. See here, this is the class we are adding to style the main container of our app. Let's make it clear by writing a comment first for our easy understanding. This is our main container that holds the entire app. We are centering everything on the screen using display, flex, justify content, center, and align items, center. We also give it some padding and make sure it takes the full height of the screen with height, 100 VH. Now, you can see our output. Our Todo app is perfectly centered on the screen, just like we planned. So, here we are adding styles for our .Todo app class, which is the main box we created in our JSX code. Now, this is where the magic happens. We are styling the actual Todo app box. We are giving it a frosted glass effect by using background with some transparency and backdrop filter. Blur, 20px. We are also adding rounded corners, padding, and a nice shadow for that floating effect. The transition property helps create smooth changes whenever the background color or size gets updated. Now, if you check the output, you'll see our Todo app box looking super stylish and centered. Looking awesome, right? Alright. Now, we are styling our header section. This is where the title of our Todo app and the dark mode button will be placed. So, first, we have the .header class. We are using display, flex. This helps us place items in a straight line, side by side. Justify content, space between. It pushes the title and button to opposite ends, making them neatly aligned with space between them. Align items, center. This ensures that the title and button are perfectly aligned vertically in the middle. Margin bottom, 20px. Add some space below the header so that it doesn't stick to the rest of the content. Now, for the .header H1 part, we are making the title look good with color, a dark gray color for the text, making it easy on the eyes. Font size, 1.8 rem, making the text big and bold enough to stand out. Alright. Now, let's style our dark mode toggle button with the .toggle btn class. So, here's what's happening. Background color, number 333. We are giving the button a dark background color to make it stand out. Color, white. The text color is white so it's clearly visible against the dark background. Padding, 8px 12px. Adding some space inside the button to make it feel clickable and comfortable. Border, none. Removing the default border to give it a cleaner look. Border radius, 10px. Adding rounded corners to make the button look smooth and modern. Cursor, pointer. Changing the cursor to a pointer when we hover over the button, so it feels interactive. Transition, background color 0.3s. Adding a smooth transition effect when the button changes color. Now, the .toggle btn, hover part. Background color, number 555. When you hover over the button, the background color lightens up a bit, giving it that nice, responsive feel. Alright. Now, if you check your output, you can see our dark mode toggle button is looking really stylish and smooth. Alright. Now, let's add our input section and display tasks. We are adding this part of the code to our JSX file. So, here's what's happening. Imagine you walk into a fancy office, and there's a beautiful to-do receptionist desk. That's our div class name is equal to input section. It's the front desk where you hand over your tasks to be registered. Now, the text box here? It's like a notebook where you scribble down your task. It's got this fancy title, Todo Input, because it's a special input box for our tasks. Whatever you type in here is stored in our input state. And that on change part? It's like a super cool sensor that constantly updates what you write in the notebook. The placeholder, add a new task, is just there to tell you, hey, write your task here, buddy. Now, here comes the real deal. The add button is like the office worker who files your task into the system. When you click this button, it calls the add to row function and your task officially gets registered in the to-do list. And look at that name, add btn. It's like a stylish, shiny button saying, yo, I'm ready to add your task. So, this little section is where the magic begins. You type your task, click the button, and boom, it's ready to be shown on your task list. Alright. Now let's make our to-do app look like it just came out of a stylish tech conference. So, We are about to style our input section and the Todo list. Here we go. Think of this as our task reception desk. We are arranging things in a row, using display, flex and giving a little breathing space below with margin bottom. This input box is like a VIP notebook for adding tasks. Flex Grow 1. Makes sure it stretches nicely, giving us that satisfying wide typing area. Padding 10px adds a cozy cushion to our typing. Border radius 12px rounded corners. Because sharp corners are so last season. Transition border color 0.3s, color 0.3s, smooth transitions like butter. Now, what happens when you focus on this box? It turns blue. Like it's saying, yes, I'm ready for your amazing task. See here in the output we can see blue color when we click in that box. Alright, let's style our add button, the task registrar. Margin left, 10px, gives the button some space from the input box. Padding, 10px 20px, makes the button comfy and clickable. Border, none, keeps it clean, no borders allowed. Background color, Hush 007 BFF, dresses it in classy blue. Color, white, text stays bright and readable. Border radius, 12px, smooth, friendly edges. Cursor, pointer, shows it's ready to be clicked. Transition, 0.3s, adds a smooth color change effect. This button's all set to add tasks with style. Ready to see it shine? Head over to your browser and see the magic. The add button is now a stylish, rounded beauty with that cool blue color and smooth hover effect. When you move your cursor over it, it subtly changes color like it's saying, hey, I'm ready. Click me. When we add the styling, add btn, hover, background color, it's like the button's winking at you saying, click me, click me. See the output. Alright, let's break down this part of the code, where the magic of displaying tasks happens. So, what's happening here? We've got a div with a class name of Todo List. This is like our display board where all the tasks will pop up. Now, we are using Animate Presence, which is part of the Framer Motion library. It's like a stage manager making sure our animations work properly when tasks are added or removed. Here, we are mapping over our to-dos array, which means we are going through each task we added and creating a motion.div for each one. The key is equal to Todo.id, ensures React can keep track of each task properly. Now, we've got these animation props. Initial is equal to the opacity 0x minus 20. When a task first appears, it starts off slightly to the left and invisible. Animate is equal to the opacity 1x 0. It smoothly slides into place and becomes fully visible. Exit is equal to the opacity 0x 20. When we delete a task, it slides away to the right and disappears. Inside this motion.div, we display the task text using span, todo.text, spanned. And finally, we've got our delete button with a cross mark emoji. When clicked, it triggers the delete Todo function, removing the task with a smooth animation. Now let's add cross mark. Go to Google and search for emoji picker, copy and paste. Search for cross mark, copy that. And paste it here. And finally, we've got our delete button with a cross mark emoji. When clicked, it triggers the delete Todo function, removing the task with a smooth animation. Pretty cool, right? It's like our to-do list is dancing with every add and delete. Let's see this magic come alive on the screen. Now let's do styling for the Todo list and Todo items. First, We have the Todo List, a fancy container that holds all the tasks. Max height, 300 px. This limits how tall the list can grow. If you add too many tasks, they won't spill everywhere like a party gone wild. Overflow Y, Auto, adds a scroll bar when tasks overflow. So, you can scroll through them instead of making a mile-long page. Scroll bar width, thin, and scroll bar color, number 888-E0E0E0, makes the scroll bar thin and stylish. Not that clunky old-school scroll bar. It's looking all sleek and smooth. Now, for WebKit-based browsers, we customize the scroll bar further. Todo List, WebKit scroll bar, width, 6px, makes the scroll bar even thinner, like a pencil line. Todo List, WebKit scroll bar thumb, background color, number 888, border radius, 10px. The actual scrolling thingy is grey and rounded, making it look nice and modern. Alright, now for the actual Todo items, where the tasks are displayed. Todo item, display, flex, justify content, space between, align items, center. This arranges the text and delete button in a row with space between them. Clean and organized. Padding, 12px, margin bottom, 10px. Add some breathing room around each task to avoid them looking squished together. Background, RGBA, 248, 242, 242, 0.8, gives each task a soft, semi-transparent white background. Smooth and elegant. Border radius, 12px, rounds the corners, making it look like a nice little task pill. Transition, transform 0.3s, adds a smooth animation effect when something happens to it, making it feel alive. Let's see the output. And the best part. Todo item, hover, transform, scale, 1.03. When you hover over a task, it gently grows like it's saying, hey, you see me? Click me if you need to. The delete button is a sneaky little thing. It's styled to look clean with no borders or background. Its red color and cursor pointer make it obvious that you can click it. Plus, the smooth transition effect makes it feel satisfying to press when you want to delete a task. Delete btn, hover. When you hover over the delete button, it slightly grows with a scale effect, like it's saying, are you sure you want to delete me? Now, let's style our dark mode and make it look super cool and classy. Here's how it's gonna work. Dark mode. Alright, this part is like flipping the switch to night mode. The whole background goes deep black with #000A, giving our app that perfect, elegant dark theme. Dark mode. Todo app. Our to-do app's background gets a stylish, semi-transparent dark block with RGBA 30, 30, 30, 0.9. It's like having a smooth black glass under all the content. Dark mode H1. The heading now shines in bright white with #F0F0F0, making sure it's clearly readable and looking fancy. Dark mode. Todo input. Our input box isn't left out. It's now got a dark gray background with number 333 and white text for perfect visibility. The border is also upgraded to number 555 for that subtle, classy outline. Now you can see the output, how that theme changes when we click the button. Dark mode. At BTN. The add button keeps its bright blue vibe with #007 BFF and white text, making sure it pops against the dark theme. Super easy to see and click. Dark mode. At BTN. Hover. When you hover over it, the background changes to a deeper blue #0056B3. Just like the button is saying, hey, click me already. Dark mode. Toggle BTN. The theme toggle button flips its colors, becoming white with #F0F0F0 and text turning dark number 333. It's like a little light switch, ready to be pressed. Dark mode. Thorough item. And finally, each to-do item gets a sleek, dark gray background with RGBA, 50, 50, 50, 0.8, and clean white text. Looks great and is super easy to read. Now, see the magic in action. You can type anything in that cool input box, your tasks, dreams, or even random thoughts, and just hit the glowing blue add button. Oh, here we are seeing that in the input section, we didn't add the margin perfectly. Let's go and correct it. Now you can see this part is good. Oh, again we done mistake in Todo List, item margin is not set properly. Let's correct it. Now try the output of your Todo app by adding the items. Now it's set perfectly as we done. And there you have it. You've just built a super cool to-do list app with animations, dark mode, and stylish buttons. In this app, you learned creating functional components and managing state in React, using Framer Motion for beautiful animations, styling your app with CSS to make it look fabulous, implementing dark mode to make your app feel modern and user-friendly. And guess what? You can grab this entire code from my GitHub. The link is right there in the description below. Happy coding, and keep building awesome stuff. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Want to learn more? Make sure to check out all the videos on my channel.